regulators are weak, they're captured, they're ineffectual, they're corrupt. You show me a strong regulator, and then maybe I'll talk to them. But the reason it is created is because there is no strong, fair regulator. They all stink. So thank God Bitcoin is here to take the economy past the corrupt regulators and the banksters.
Wow. I can see there's not very many regulators in the audience. What about the big players, the big banks? They've been rejecting Bitcoin for a long time, and then come December last year, suddenly they wake up. So there has been a lot of cooperation. Where do we stand on the traditionally big players in the financial market getting into the space?
So I'll answer this from what we're seeing at Coinbase. I think largely the conversation's been around public blockchains like Ethereum and Bitcoin and private blockchains. And what we saw banks kind of notably did in 2015, 16, and 17 is move forward with private blockchain instances. And while we think that's ultimately a good thing, I don't think it's going to be nearly as impactful as open or public blockchains like Bitcoin will be, for the exact reason the internet's been far more impactful than private intranets have been. Again, they can it's not either or. They're going to complement one another, but I think that's kind of been the first conversation. The second one, and the one that we spend a lot of our time thinking about, is the institutionalization of this space. And that is the large banks, the hedge funds, the sovereign wealth funds of the world now beginning to move capital into this new asset class. And a lot of the work we do at Coinbase is building not just the products, the qualified custodian, the reliable exchanges, the prime brokerages, but also having the right regulatory licenses so that capital can move into the space. So what I see coming from banks right now is maybe a little bit of air being taken out of the room on these private blockchain instances that may still develop but are not going to revolutionize their work overnight, but beginning to look at crypto as a new asset class that ultimately their clients want exposure to.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key there is that it's come from the ground up. It's clients that have been asking for exposure to this asset class, and the banks have kind of been dragged into it. Jamie Dimon, 2017 September, called it a fraud, and then 2 weeks ago just hired a head of crypto strategy, and that's happened over and over again. And you look at Goldman, and so and it's because of the demand from their clients. It's not a top-down strategy; it's bottom-up, and that goes with the ethos of what crypto and blockchain is about.
Max, I have an idea about what you think about that, but do you think they have something to bring into the space, or should they just? No.
They don't. They have really nothing, no value to add to this space. And which is Financial Times this morning said half banking jobs are going to be eliminated. Okay, all the back office. Okay, blockchain versus Bitcoin. Blockchain is great for banks because they take all those back office jobs of matching trades. I was a stockbroker for many years, and the whole antiquated system of matching trades and clearing trades is unbelievably Byzantine. And so this is all going to be done away with blockchain. Okay, so that's half the banks gone. What about the front office? The guys who just sit on their all day and just collect rentier-like fees for overcharging customers and doing nefarious things. What about those guys? Well, they will have a war of attrition where more and more of their customers disappear until eventually there's nothing left. So how many bookstores are there, freestanding mom and pop bookstores are there, after Amazon came into the space? Very few. Okay, and there's no room for them. The answer is no.
No.
That's my short answer.
Right. So last one on Bitcoin, the question everyone is burning to ask: price in a year, in 5 years. Where do we stand?
I kind of want to see it get to that price at which John McAfee says he'll eat his own.
What was that?
Okay.
Is that 100,000?
I think that was $1 million per coin. So, I mean, I'd like to see that, and I could have it on my show, and I'd love to have him eat his on my show. I mean, that would be great.
I don't want to watch.
Now, do I think it's going to get to $1 million? I think if you look at the rate of compounding, it's pretty remarkable. It's almost 1% a day, and you just follow that compounded rate of return. Albert Einstein said, the most powerful force in the universe is compound interest. That's a quote from Albert Einstein. So imagine if you're compounding at 1% a day. Warren Buffett's compounding at 22% a year. Okay, Charlie Munger, this Bitcoin price will be times 1,000 the price of the years Charlie Munger gets to when he croaks.
Right. Chalak, your price a year from now?
I mean, I think it's going to keep going up. I don't pay as much attention to the price. I'm more interested
in the price destruction.
Yeah, I mean, it's the technology behind it, and I think I think all roads and indications lead to more demand for this as an asset class. It's the most secure. It's fixed supply. There are a lot of things going for it that I don't see other cryptos necessarily fulfilling that store of value function. So I'm a holder.
Adam?
So from our perspective, Coinbase, we're one of the world's largest exchange operators. We tend not to focus on the price and explicitly focus on the process of fair price discovery. So we have over 20 million customers that every day are buying some crypto. We have some of the largest market makers and banks.
Just give me a number, Adam.
So I cannot give you a number. What I will say in the kind of ethos of Max, I do think in our lifetime we will see this asset class emerge as something that everyone has a bit of exposure to. And I do think that if we move ourselves from Western developed countries like the United States and Europe, this does solve a real problem in more developing